Hi, I'm going to read This Little Scientist, a Discovery Primer. And this is the picture of it. It's going to talk about different scientists. And so, little scientists make great big discoveries. First, they ask why, then they make a guess. And they ask how, then proving with tests. Okay, next. We're going to talk about Isaac Newton. This little scientist said we will walk on the ground because gravity stops us from floating around. That's Isaac Newton, a picture of him. Isaac Newton also found a rainbow of colors called a spectrum inside a beam of light and figured out 3 rules for how objects move. It's amazing what you can do with just a small bit of stuff. The next scientist is Marion. This little scientist painted bugs everywhere, laying eggs, eating leaves, even flying midair. Marion's paintings were explaining such things as how caterpillars turn into butterflies through a change called metamorphosis. That's a picture of her. Okay. Next will be Marie Curie. This little scientist did experiments to show that atomic energy called uranium rocks glow. Marie Curie studied invisible atoms that give off energy particles she named radioactivity. She was the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry and physics. Marie Curie. Okay. Next scientist is Albert Einstein. This little scientist had wild white hair. He was famous for writing E equals mc squared. Albert Einstein's equation means that energy and mass are the same thing in different forms. He said nothing can go faster than the speed of light, which goes at 186,282 miles a second. And that's a picture of Albert Einstein with his wild white hair. Okay, the next scientist would be Grace Hopper. This little scientist wrote code that was new to tell computers in words what we want them to do. Grace Hopper programmed computers in words instead of numbers. She popularized the term computer bug when a moth flew inside her computer and broke it. Grace Hopper. The next little scientist is Katherine Johnson. This little scientist got the math right to help NASA astronauts launch outer space flight. Katherine Johnson solved hard math problems on paper before trusted computers were available, so space heroes like John Glenn could safely orbit the Earth. And that is Katherine Johnson. The next little scientist is Jane Goodall. This little scientist studied chimpanzees and made friends with them among Africa's trees. Jane Goodall discovered that chimps hug their friends and make tools like spoons out of sticks. Before this, people thought only humans made tools. All right, Jane Goodall. Sulan Wu. This little scientist has a brilliant spark. She helped find particles called gluon and charm quark. Sulan Wu studies particles, the smallest building blocks of our universe, and atoms, protons, and neutrons are made of quarks stuck together by gluons. And there she is. The next little scientist is Stephen Hawking. This little scientist studied outer space surprises like mysterious black holes that form in many sizes. Stephen Hawking made big news by explaining how some particles might escape black holes, which have gravity so strong that everything nearby falls into them. Stephen Hawking. The next little scientist is Neil deGrasse Tyson. This little scientist helps us understand how our universe works and how it began. Neil deGrasse Tyson visited the Hayden Planetarium as a boy and got excited about stars and planets. He grew up to be the director of a planetarium. That's all right, Neil Tyson. Quirks, robots, or DNA? What would you like to discover today? Different picture of all the scientists and your choice what you would like to do.